BBL 851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established.
Another busy week for the aviation industry, and there's quite a fair bit to get through, so let's not waste any time. If you're new, be sure to subscribe to the channel for more similar content. We begin proceedings though, taking a look at recent performances at both Airbus and Boeing, who recently revealed their results for the month of May. While of late monthly delivery and order results have been relatively bleak, it still provides us with an indication of potential recovery in some sectors. For Boeing in the month of May, it was an incredibly successful one, with them actually outshining Airbus and making their mark where for the past 2 years they've rather lacked. Boeing was able to secure a whopping 73 new orders, with the 737 MAX featuring prominently. If anything, just by me noting what Boeing reported, it feels like we are back in 2017 or even early 2018, rather than how it has really been of late. On top of that, the aircraft manufacturer managed to secure some orders for its 787, which has also recently lacked. While the orders were minimal, they are still notable and are from Lufthansa, who will actually be featuring prominently in this video with various different mini-stories to cover on them. For Airbus, they just reported a total of 7 orders for May, and oddly enough, the wide-body sector actually outperformed the narrow-body sector for them, with Lufthansa placing orders for an additional 5 of the already existing A350s. This was a part of the 787 order, and the remaining 2 orders were for the A320neo. What Airbus lacked in orders, it made up for though in deliveries, with them outperforming Boeing in that area. But usually, you'll hear me make note of the issues at Boeing in more of a negative way, as naturally they're never good. But it is worth mentioning when I compare both the deliveries for Airbus and then the deliveries for Boeing. Boeing actually had issues with their 787 deliveries and 737 MAX deliveries, which have been basically suspended on and off for a considerable period of time, which means even if they would finish up short, that number could most definitely have been adjusted and more could have definitely been delivered if they had the same playing grounds, if you will, as Airbus. For Lufthansa, we now move inside the cabin of their Airbus A350, with the airline revealing, or confirming should I say, that they will be installing first class on their Airbus A350s, as reported by none other than the Aerotelegraph, with their report being linked below in the sources area of this video's description. With this decision from Lufthansa, it means that their next 10 Airbus A350s, which are set to arrive, will have first class installed. However, one of the major drawbacks, if you will, from this announcement is that this specific development won't come into effect for a very long time, as Lufthansa will not be welcoming on any further A350s for a while, in fact multiple years. Naturally, this makes sense given the fact long-haul travel is pretty much at this point non-existent, and they already have a decently sized long-haul fleet that is more than adequate enough at this current point, and they would really only look to welcome on these A350s when the industry has recovered, I would argue, 100%, and then they can look at expanding with the knowledge that people are indeed flying. The aircraft, if they were to welcome on right now, would be basically redundant and would not be flying. Therefore, they'd just be welcoming in more and more losses, which is not something they want to welcome in the slightest. The Aerotelegraph has been pretty on point with the developments for first class on the A350s, heavily documenting it on their website over the course of recent months, so confirmation that they're moving forward with this is certainly exciting. For Lufthansa, the 777X will not feature first class, whereas the A350 will. They'll, on the other hand, specifically have a business class cabin for that, whenever they do arrive. Sadly though, it's not all positive news in our industry, and we must move to developments with Stobart Air and Aer Lingus, who in the past 48 hours have seen a major shake-up. As a result of the operations ceasing at Stobart Air, the main Irish carrier has announced that regional flights to select destinations from the likes of Dublin and Belfast City have now been cancelled. However, it doesn't stop just there, with, as mentioned, the flights originating or ending at these locations. They're coming from a wide range of locations like that of the East Midlands, Leeds, Bradford, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Manchester, and so on, which are key routes that move people around. The news comes after Stobart Air, which operates regional services for Aer Lingus, failed to find a buyer and therefore went into liquidity. In a statement, the airline said, teams across Aer Lingus have been working through the night, progressing alternative flying operations from tomorrow to provide a service for Aer Lingus regional customers. If you have any thoughts on the topics covered in this aviation news recap, feel free to leave it down in the comment section below. But until the next video, thank you so much for the continued support. I hope you have been enjoying the content, and especially enjoy this type of content here on the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.